Before we start, I would like to thank Roseselsa for providing the ceramics and the CeramicsX for the review. However, this review will be 100% my own opinion and I will try my best to not be biased. All good? Let's get into the review. The first thing I noticed is that they have made the box not reusable. Perhaps it is not the right word to describe it, but the box can no longer be closed once it is open. Inside of the box, there is the CeramicsX itself. Removing the tray reveals the compartment for ear tips and USB-C for charging. They included a quick start guide. Other than that, the packaging is very simple. As I did not read the quick start guide, I did not know how to connect the CeramicsX to my phone. Turns out, even though it does have a button near the USB port, it connects like the newer TWS by taking them out of the case and checking your Bluetooth settings on your phone. The first time I paired the CeramicsX to my phone, I noticed that there are no option for LDAC, which is plastered in the front of the box. I got pretty frustrated that it said it supports LDAC, but the option did not show up for me. I thought it was my phone that did not support LDAC, but I also remembered that I used the R4 as the Bluetooth receiver and it does support LDAC without changing anything. Perhaps I should check the app they have. I tried scanning the QR code on the quick start guide, but I also searched it on Play Store and it is available in my country. So I installed it to see what is there in the app. Once it is installed and I connect the CeramicsX, it appears that you still need to add the CeramicsX to the device list on the Roselink app. Once it is added, it also needs to be connected by tapping the Go Connect button. Once you are done, you can finally switch the connection mode from AAC or SBC to LDAC. You will still need to change the codec from your phone settings. At first, I thought that the wind noise cancellation was just a gimmick. Turns out that it is not even close to being a gimmick. I thought it would perform the same as the usual noise cancellation, but in reality, it is different, as it cuts down wind noise. However, it does feel like it is not as good at cutting the overall noise compared to the standard noise cancellation mode. Immediately, the CeramicsX fixed my issue with the space travel. It is worth noting that I do not have the space travel anymore, so I do not know if the wind noise issue is fixed or not. On the transparency mode, while it allows your surrounding to pass through compared to the noise cancellation off, it does have a slight buzz to them. Not sure on the space travel, as I barely use the transparency mode on them. So far, the features of the CeramicsX have impressed me. I will talk about them more in the other section. For now, let's talk about the sound. As for the sound, I do have some notes on them. Since I no longer have the space travel to compare to, I can really compare the CeramicsX to the most popular TWS option amongst budget-oriented audiophiles. However, Roseselsa is kind enough to send the predecessor of the CeramicsX, the original Ceramics, in for review. Without further ado, let's talk about the sound impression. Perhaps the first thing that stands out from the out-of-the-box configuration, as I find the mid-bass on Pop EQ option is rather lacking in control, giving a sense of muddy mid-bass and lower mids. However, switching to the Hi-Fi EQ setting, which I highly recommend, fixes most of the issue for me. On the Hi-Fi EQ, the bass is pretty well controlled, giving a pretty thick and thumpy mid-bass. The sub-bass performance is also pretty good, giving a punchy kick drums on metal or rock tracks. My second note on the ceramics out-of-the-box settings is on the vocals and the mids in general. Other than the mid-bass split to the lower mids, it seems like the V-tuning on this Pop EQ is also a little too bass heavy, as the bass may overpower the upper mid-range and the vocal area a little too much. Again, switching the EQ to Hi-Fi fixes most of this issue for me. The vocal and upper mid-range has gotten their spotlight back. However, this EQ isn't perfect either, as mids, vocals and the treble can get a little thin on certain tracks. Male vocals are still quite warm, although they still can get thin at times. The treble sounds okay overall. They are not picky most of the time and not enough sibilants to be annoying. However, I think they might have slightly too much air, as cymbals on rock or metal tracks sometimes sounds lacking in definition, but on other more modern recordings like pop, EDM, and even modern rock, this issue isn't present. I will talk about this in the space travel section. This song is my benchmark for judging how wide and deep the soundstage is. The Ceramics X has a pretty wide soundstaging with good imaging. However, I think the layering and soundstage depth are perhaps not the strong suit of the Ceramics X. On high listening volume, it also seems like the Ceramics X are overwhelmed by the treble of this song. It seems like I enjoy pop songs more with the Ceramics X. I still do listen to some metal or rock tracks, but mostly pop songs with them. I Got You by Twice is the most recent song I've put on repeat while listening with the Ceramics X. I like the vocal presentation as they have that energy lifting vibe to them. On the bass presentation is also pretty nice. Fun sounding bass with minimal bloat to the lower mids. As for soundstage, they are not really the widest, but they are definitely more than enough to give a pleasant listening experience. Compared to the Space Travel I used to own, the Space Travel may have a more correct sound, as when I test them with Baby Metal's Kingslayer, the Ceramics X sounds noticeably way more bright to slightly sibilant compared to the Space Travel in a similar listening volume. Lowering the listening volume and changing the EQ settings to rock on the Roseselsa app fixes most of this issue. I think if you are after a great natural sounding TWS, I still recommend the Space Travel. Technically, I use TWS more for convenience thing, so I prioritize features over sound most of the time, which brings us to what I think the strong suit of the Ceramics X. For $49, the Roseselsa Ceramics has a pretty good selection of features: dual connect, ANC, LDAC, and probably the feature I use the most, volume control. Most of the features are locked in the Roseselsa application. I do not like apps, as I find them cluttering. As mentioned in the beginning, the LDAC wireless codec is locked from the application. Luckily, the app does not require you to log in or sign up with anything, and the Roseselsa app is actually pretty good. All you need is to add the Ceramics X to the device management. After that, you are free to connect the Ceramics X, change the touch settings, change the EQ, turn on LDAC, game mode, and dual connection mode. I actually take the Ceramics X for my daily commute, which lasts me more than an hour every weekday. Since it is pretty cramped, I can hardly reach my phone to change songs or do anything. The touch controls, while slightly annoying, works pretty good most of the time and actually helps in limited mobility situations. The Ceramics is also sent by Roseselsa as a comparison to the Ceramics X. The Ceramics share the same general shape and design. The printings themselves looks kinda similar, but I think the Ceramics X looks more refined overall. About the sound, the Ceramics X and the Ceramics are about the same, although it seems like the Ceramics may have a little more resolution and the upper mids are a little more forward, providing a louder vocal overall. I still strongly suggest the hi-fi EQ for both, as I find them way cleaner overall. The Ceramics also have more bass control, while the Ceramics X may have slightly more mid-bass, giving a fun listening experience overall. The Ceramics do not have noise cancelling, and I think it is a huge deal for them, as in louder environment, the outside noise can distract the listening experience. The other thing is that the Ceramics X is more refined, as they immediately stop playing once you put them inside their case, while the Ceramics have a slight delay on pausing and disconnecting. The voice prompts and taps sounds better on the Ceramics X too, giving a better sense of quality overall. On crowded place and perhaps somewhere near high electric current, the connection can get iffy on LDAC codec. Even when my phone and the TWS are pretty close, it seems like it disconnects sometimes. Funny story, one time when it is raining and I am outside, The connection seems to get cut off when lightning was about to strike. Perhaps it is a bad idea to wear them during the rain, as I am not really sure if they have an IP rating or not. But I digress. I think if you are not home or in a crowded place, you should probably be better off using the usual SBC or AAC codec. Since I only use them during daily commute and perhaps on some YouTube watching sessions during lunch break, the CeramicsX has a pretty good battery life. I once tested them with ANC on, in a relatively quiet room. The only noise that is cancelled is the AC noise in the background. After 5 to 6 hours of playing music with ANC on, it has around 30-ish% batteries left. I barely need to charge the case, probably around once a week. But my use case isn't actually that heavy. The CeramicsX is a new TWS from Roseselsa that costs around $46. The CeramicsX is the first TWS I reviewed after a pretty long break from the TWS scene. Nothing really beats the convenience of wireless earbuds when it comes to high mobility lifestyle. Either you run for sports or run for commuting, as there are no cables to get stuck to. The CeramicsX is feature-packed with LDAC, noise cancellation, transparency mode, and dual connection. The sound is either bright and bassy. Perhaps on treble area it has too much air, as cymbals and many other sounds in those frequencies can be lacking in definition. However, the option to change EQ is nice, and in my opinion, the best EQ option are the hi-fi or the rock EQ. Since this is a TWS, I would like to change the rating systems quite a bit. I give the CeramicsX an A- for features and a B- for sound. Thank you again, Yue, for offering and trusting me with the review of the CeramicsX. Wow, these past few weeks have been a challenge for me. How about you? How are you these days? Let's have a chat in the comment section. So, what do you think of the CeramicsX? Are you interested in them? What are your views on TWS? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.